Welcome. I want to ask this question today, or have a small rant about the price. Will it go up? There's a very simple answer. Yes, the price will definitely go up. If you look at Business Insider 2019, they made up the price of 25,900 to 46,900. Now, 5 years later, it are the same prices. So that's 5 years later. And a lot of things have changed, and there is also another few reasons why I think it will be way more expensive, at least 10K, and I'll explain why. For one thing, they're gonna produce it in Italy. In Italy, the wages are high. The place where they're producing it is not cheap. They're building supercars there. They have to ship it, and the shipping will not be cheap. Quickly, you can see that shipping will cost at least, well, for 40 feet container, 1,500 to 2,000, depending on how the market is. And if you see that there will fit maximum 6 Aptera in a 40-feet container, if you just look at the specs of the length and the width and the height, you can stack them too high, and three long. So they're all three long and two high that will fit in a 40-feet container. So that will be expensive. The shipping, I think, will cost at least 2,000 minimum from CPC to Aptera, and that's very generous. So that would be $333 per Aptera, but I think it's more going to be like 500 plus, because the toll, the other costs that come, it will be costly. So they're actually working in the worst possible way for making a product affordable. And they boast about having a 30% margin. Well, forget it. They won't have a 30% margin. Normal car companies struggle to get 5% margin. Tesla is a different case, but don't compare it to Tesla. And the normal companies, the first 3, 4, 5 years, they actually make big losses and hope to make it up in the 6, 7 years after that. Well, Aptera has just to survive the first 2 years, so I think they need to sell that for a price where they can survive the first 2 years. And I think if they sell 20,000 cars in the first 2 years, let's say 4,000 in the first year and 16,000 in the second year, that's 20,000 cars. Which means that if they want to earn that money back, which they already spent, it would be 40,000 per car. Okay, it will be smeared out over a longer time, but even if you smear it out over 200,000 cars, it's still a lot, and somewhere it will be somewhere in between, and it will be way big high. So if they have like 10% profit and they sell it for 50,000, they have a 5%, $5,000 profit, and they they're gonna sell the LE, the limited edition, the launch edition for 35,000. So that would mean 3,500, and that's if everything goes perfect. Everything goes perfect, and it won't. There will be recalls, there will be problems, but I think it's more going to be like 5% profit. So that is $1,750. So I think the launch edition will go up 10 or maybe even 15,000 to $50,000. And that's not a problem, because if the price goes up to $50,000, a lot of people won't like it. and that means they have lower volume, less reservations, and it will make it even harder. This was my second rant. Talk about it, leave some comments, but believe me, one thing is for sure, the prices will go up minimum 10k. It also says on their own price sheet, price subject to change. And when they come out, it will be 6 years after they made up this price. They made it up. They have the real price. They know what the price is about going to be if they wanted to survive the first 2 years. And for a normal car, a supercar, because it's a little bit like a supercar, the carbon, it would normal price would be more like 75 or 100,000, and then you make them cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. But they wanted to start mass production, and if they want to start mass production, they're not going to need the 50 million they're talking about. They're going to need like more like 500 million, because they're going to need to pay everything up front to get the prices down. And if they're only going to sell 20,000 or 2,000 or 6 in the first years, they're not going to survive it. So they will have to absolutely get the price up. And that will be my guesstimate 50,000 for the launch edition minimum, and every version will go up minimum 10,000 or 15,000 or even 20,000, whatever. Okay, this was the rant for today. Leave a comment what do you think about it, but believe me, the price will go up.